All right, everyone. Thanks for joining the call. My name is Richard Fetchko. I'm the CEO and founder of altFINS, and I would like to welcome you to this education webinar in which I will explain and demonstrate how to do technical analysis and how to use the platform altFINS to find some interesting trading ideas and also execute those trading ideas. Hopefully, at the end of this 1 hour webinar, you will have walked away with some concrete, useful tips and techniques to help you, and I think you'll be well on your way to be a successful trader. I think that keeping things very simple, both in life and in trading, will help you advance your trading success as well. And that's what I intend to do in this webinar. Just keep things very simple, because I do think we have a lot of beginners here. First of all, I wanted to also do some housekeeping items. If you have any question, please raise your hand. That's one of those hand-looking icons on the bottom of your screen. Secondly, I wanted to also encourage you, since this will be a relatively interactive, hands-on, practical webinar, that I think you'll be able to follow, and at least at a later point, also watch the recording of it and follow some of the instructions and examples that I will illustrate on the platform. So I encourage you to, if you haven't done already, to log in. And if you haven't done it, haven't created a login on the platform, it's free. So I encourage you to sign up. All you need is an email and then set up your password. You don't have to do that right now, but certainly at a later point. If you do that, again, it's free. You'll be able to do a number of things, such as create your own alerts, create your watch lists, create and save your own custom filters. So there's a number of benefits as a free member of the platform that you will gain if you register. So, and I also wanted to mention that a lot of these concepts that I mentioned today, we will be further elaborating on with an upcoming series of education course. We have one currently on the platform. I encourage you to actually, on the platform, to go under the crypto education section, where I actually post a number of trading videos every couple or 3 days of the week. I think yesterday or 2 days ago, I posted a real short trade, as well as a discussion about whether this market rally recently is just a bear market rally or a new uptrend. So do check into this crypto education area, but also we will be launching a new trading course that will be an updated version of the one that we have currently, that I think will also help you advance your trading skills. Okay, and then as I mentioned, there will be a recording available of this within a couple of hours of finishing up this webinar. So don't worry if you miss anything or don't understand anything at the first time. You'll be able to rewatch it and get back to the sections that perhaps give you some troubles. And lastly, I'll mention that actually to celebrate this kickoff of the education webinars, we'll be offering a lifetime deal tomorrow with a 50% off, which I think is a great value. So if you do want to join the platform and get all the benefits and premium features and content, then starting tomorrow for the next, I think, 2 or 3 days, you'll have an amazing chance to get a 50% off, not only on annual, but actually a lifetime basis. All right, so having done that and got it out of the way, let's jump into the content. So as promised, today what I want to cover, first of all, I'll talk about myself briefly and about altFINS, but then I'll jump to some of the key topics that we want to cover. I myself have spent most of my career on Wall Street. I lived and worked in New York City, most recently for investment bank Janney Montgomery Scott. So I did invest and trade and actually consult with a lot of institutional investors, hedge funds, mutual funds, family offices, on how to structure their portfolios, not in cryptocurrencies, but at the time those weren't around yet, but in traditional financial securities, mostly stocks. And then in 2017, 18, I caught the crypto bug and went down the crypto rabbit hole. I started speculatively trading, investing, and realized that I needed a tool similar to Bloomberg that I was used to in my traditional finance days that was missing. And so I and a group of developers have decided to build one, and from that, altFINS came about. And really, altFINS is a tool and a platform for active traders and investors to really give them the right information and the right content and signals that they need at the right time to make their decisions wisely, as opposed to trading on some sentiment or tweets. This platform will give you the right structure for whatever trading strategy that you choose fits your style. Now, on to the topics of the day. I'll cover what is the technical analysis. If you're not familiar with that, hopefully you are, but I'll cover what I use it for and how I view it and why it's useful. I'll also cover the key trading principles. And those are, again, I keep things very simple. Find a trend, find support and resistance and momentum. And so you find a trend and then use the support and resistance and momentum to enter or exit that trend. It's really that simple. It's just 2 steps. Find a trend and find the right entry and exit using support and resistance and momentum. We'll cover the MACD indicator, which is, I think, the most useful and most used momentum indicator. I'll explain what it is and how it's used. And finally, we'll cover a strategy, which is a favorite strategy of mine, which is basically looking at coins that are in an uptrend, but are also experiencing a fresh bullish momentum upswing. And again, I'll explain what that is, and I'll cap it off with an actual live trade. So what is technical analysis? To me, technical analysis is really a study of price. Pricing captures a lot of information, and most importantly, it captures of what is the current supply and demand for that asset, in our case, an altcoin. So obviously, when demand is greater than supply, prices go up, and vice versa. When there's more sellers than demand, meaning buyers, when there are more sellers than buyers, obviously price goes down. And there are various techniques and indicators that help us gauge that balance or imbalance between the sellers and buyers, or supply and demand forces. So that's what technical analysis helps us to do, is really measure and engage that balance or imbalance between those forces. Whenever there's imbalance, then there's a movement in price, either up or down. Also, importantly, technical analysis, what it tries to do really in various ways and techniques and indicators is to identify a trend, because honestly, that's the most critical part of getting started with trading. Trading is identifying trend. And then it also identifies support and resistance and momentum, as I mentioned. And lastly, I guess at the end of the day, technical analysis should help us identify trading opportunities with a higher success probability. Obviously, we'll never be 100% successful, but if we can be 70% successful, that's good enough to have a really high winning rates and successful trading strategy and financial gains that we're all looking for. So the key pillars to trading and technical analysis, for me, as I mentioned, good rule in life, and certainly applies to trading as well, is keep it simple, stupid. KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. You don't need 100 indicators. A lot of the traders, beginner traders, get really bogged down with so many signal, indicators, this and that, and then you're just really at a loss of what should be your strategy or what should be your entry and exit. So let's keep it simple in the beginning. Especially over time, you may develop your own techniques or preferences for certain indicators, but in the beginning, I certainly keep things very simple, which is what I mentioned. let's find a trend and trade with the trend. And the reason the trend is so important, because trends have a tendency to continue. Trends have a tendency to persist. Okay, once we find a trend, and most likely an uptrend is what we'll be interested in, but more advanced traders can also focus on a downtrend and take advantage and profit from a downtrend. But once we identify a trend, which with altFINS platform is super easy, then we find a good entry and exit. Okay, so keep it simple. Now, step one, finding a trend. And I will show you on the platform soon as to how to do that. But why is trend so important? As I mentioned on the prior slide, you want to trade with trend. I'm sure you've heard this adage before. It's an old adage, but it's a very truthful adage. You want to trade with a trend. Don't trade against the trend. Again, some advanced traders, and sometimes I do that, but it's really advanced swing trading techniques when you can trade against the trend, but it's a higher risk trading technique. Trading with the trend is far more successful and safe. And frankly, I think it's 50% of the success is when you find a trend, when the price is going up consistently with some dips, you got to buy those dips. You trade with the trend. You assume that the trend will continue. So trade with the trend. Trend is your friend. Now, what is an uptrend? I think when we see a chart, it's very clear to everyone what is an uptrend, what is a downtrend, right? When a price chart and line is going up in the right-hand corner consistently, it's an uptrend, and vice versa, downtrend. But the technical term for an uptrend is a series of higher highs and higher lows. Now you ask yourself, what the hell is that? So let's take a look at our platform. Series of higher highs, higher lows. Let's look at the current market, and let's take Bitcoin, for example. All right. So first of all, right here, you can see what our platform trend ratings are for this asset. In this case is Bitcoin, right? We have 3 trend. I'm sorry.
We don't see.
I'm hearing that you don't see that. Okay, my bad.
We don't see the screen.
Yep. Thank you for letting me know. Here we go. How's that? All right. Excellent. Sorry about that. So what I did to backtrack a little bit, I went to the platform and I selected screener. And then I selected Bitcoin, the first asset on the list, which pulls up the side panel with additional details. Okay, and here's a line chart. I'm going to turn off some of the moving averages so it doesn't bother us here in even the volume, RSI, MACD. Let's just focus on the chart. I prefer the candlestick chart. If you don't know what that is, something we can cover in the future. But as you can see, Bitcoin's been experiencing since the beginning of the year very consistent, on the upswings and downswings. Even in an uptrend, you're going to get those upswings and downswings. But what I'm trying to show you here is that you see when on the upswing here, we made a higher high relative to the prior upswing. Next upswing, higher high. Next upswing, higher high. Then we had a couple of lower highs. That was certainly, we lost some momentum there in terms of the trend. But now we're back at the prior highs, and we really need Bitcoin to break through the $32,000 to make another higher high relative to this one to continue in its uptrend. But as you can see, also the lows have mostly been higher lows than the prior. I mean, it's never going to be picture perfect, right? But that's the textbook definition of an uptrend. But honestly, no one's got the time to be looking at charts and identifying, is this a higher high, higher low? No, next chart, right? So what altFINS has done to make it easy for everyone is create trend ratings. So on this tab trend, when you select trend, you can see what is the trend rating for all of these assets, and we've got 3,000 of them on the short-term, medium-term, and long-term basis. Now, we have 3 trend sort of time horizons. The one that I emphasize the most is the medium-term trend. The reason for that is the short-term trend can change very quickly, okay? And it's okay if you're like a fast trader, but medium-term trend, I think, is a trend that's more established, it's more mature, but not too old, meaning it still has some legs, it still has some upside. When I catch an asset that's in the medium trend, uptrend, I know there's still more upside there, that I'm not catching it or riding it or trying to ride it at the end of that uptrend, okay? So I emphasize, and I would also advise you to do as well, to emphasize the medium trend as being sort of the most relevant trend indicator. And as you can see, some assets, Bitcoin is in a strong uptrend, Ethereum is sort of neutral, Binance strong down, right? We know that that's been in trouble. Ripple is up, and so on. So now let me just ask, okay, interesting that I have to keep switching my screens here. Well, in any case, so this is one way to find the trend on our platform. Now, of course, again, going down this list is time consuming and boring. So the one way to fast track that, because you're probably interested in a specific trend, most of us are interested in, well, which assets or coins are in an uptrend. So you can go to the filter and click on signals and filters. That will bring up this form in which here under the MA trends or moving average trends, you can select which trend you're interested in. We're interested in the medium trend and say, okay, I want to see all those coins that are in an uptrend. Add filter. So now we're down to 300 coins. You could even say, and this is actually very powerful, to say, not only I'm interested in coins that are in an uptrend, but I want to know which ones have recently been upgraded to an uptrend, right? Which coins have sort of begin to reverse the downtrend and actually have improved their trend to an uptrend. That's really even more interesting. So once I add that filter, I'm down to 99 coins, and I'm actually going to, you could play with that and say, I don't want any stable coins, so I'm going to add just the regular coins. I don't want any really tiny market caps, so I'm going to say minimum market cap of 5 million, which is not even that much. So now I'm down to 26 coins that are in an uptrend on the medium-term basis. You could be even tougher on that and say, well, I also want these assets to be in an uptrend on the short-term or long-term basis. You can add those criteria and fine-tune that further. Now, actually, let me get back to this real quick. Here, once you create your own custom filter, you can save it. And this is where having a free registration on the platform helps you, because unless you register, you can't save your own custom filters. So I'm going to give this a name to say that medium term up. Okay, or in fact, it's just fresh up because it's recently being upgraded. Once I save that, it's under my saved filters. I got a lot of these saved filters, but it's here on the bottom here. And in the future, you can come back to it and apply the filter and click on done. And once you do that, now you're down to those 99 assets that are in an uptrend. You can see the filter criteria up here. They're in an uptrend. In fact, they have a fresh uptrend. As you can see on the right-hand side here, it says that Bitcoin was upgraded from up to strong up in the last 5 days. Okay, Bitcoin Cash is also up, and in fact is in a strong uptrend on the short-term, medium. So you can go down this list. Point is, it's a quick way of finding those coins that are in an uptrend, and those therefore should be subject of our interest. So that's the first step. Another way to actually shortcut this, if you don't want to build your own custom filters, which over time I think you will, is that we have created a lot of these custom preset filters for you. You can find a lot of them under the signal summary. So let's go to signal summary. And here in the beginning, I have a lot of my custom filters. But then when you scroll down, right, strategy blocks, these are basically preset filters that save a lot of time for you, especially if you're a beginner. You basically can use these market scans or preset filters without spending a lot of time building your own. And you know that these have been built by professionals. And so if you're looking for coins that are in an uptrend, then you're looking for this up here. So there's about 90 of them. Or strong up, if you really want to be like into coins that are really in a strong uptrend. There's 12 of those. I'm okay with just uptrend. So I'm going to click on this 90. Why am I clicking on 90 and now not some of these other numbers? Well, first of all, I'm looking for uptrend, not downtrend, because these here are in a downtrend. These here are in an uptrend. Now, I'm clicking on 90 because I'm trading on the one-day interval. This is something that over time you will discover that if you get more proficient, you can trade on lower intervals, which means it's just things change faster. But for beginners, sticking to the one-day interval is plenty fast. So I'm going to click on the 90 here, this link, which basically takes me back to that crypto screener section that we were on previously. And I have, again, that filter applied right here. It says short-term trend is up. So let's check all the trend ratings here on the trend tab, right? Short-term trend is up or better than up, which is strong up. Medium trend is up, and long-term trend is up as well. Now, you could relax this and say, okay, well, short-term trends can change abruptly, so I'm going to take that out of the filter. So you just click on the X here, and therefore the pool of potential results and potential candidates for your trade widens. But so that's another technique, an easy way for you to find coins in a trend, an uptrend. In this case, I think most of us are more interested in coins that are in an uptrend than downtrend. And so once we have that, let's get back to the presentation. For some reason, I have to keep doing that, but all right, back to the presentation. Now we know how to find coins in an uptrend. We don't have to study the charts. The platform has done it for you. It's identified based on certain moving average crossovers. The details behind how we do that are available in our knowledge base, by the way, if you want to dig into that, but are not. I think the details and the guts of it are not relevant here. I've illustrated a couple of ways to find these already. This is what we just utilized, the signal summary, right? Those two preset or predefined filters for you. And now, step 2, finding a good entry, right? We know there's an uptrend here, certain assets with, we found 90 of them. They're in a solid uptrend. But where do I get involved? Where do I buy this? And when? Well, that's the step 2, and that's where you start using some of the other indicators, such as the momentum, MACD, and support and resistance. So first, I want to illustrate how even in an uptrend, and this asset, linear finance, is in an uptrend based on the trend ratings. And even just looking at the chart, it's clear. With the up and down swings, it's trending higher. The upswings are hitting higher highs. The downswings are hitting higher lows. So they're dips, but they reach higher levels than the prior downswings, right? So as you can see, there's always, even in an uptrend, you get swings, up and down swings. So what you want to do, obviously, is buy and get involved in this uptrend, hopefully somewhere at the bottom of the downswing. Now, it's never going to be perfect because we don't know the bottom of the downswing is the bottom until 1 or 2 days late, but that's okay. That's okay. So realistically, we'll be buying it not here, but we don't know this at the time. We don't know that this is the bottom until we get a couple of candles, a couple of days of upticks, right? So, but that's the idea, the holy grail, the dream of the trader is to be buying at the lows, selling at the highs, right? Well, there is a way to get close to that. And to do that, still continuing with the step 2, which is how do I find a good entry and later exit, is to use support and resistance and in combination, hopefully, with a momentum change indicator called MACD indicator. All right, so what's that mean? Let's cover support and resistance. I'm sure you've heard the term support and resistance. If you haven't, I think you'll grasp it very quickly. Support is typically a level when, let's get back to that chart here. Support is a level where the price finds the bottom. And what happens? Well, the price shot up. The guys that bought it up here in the first leg up are all making, money hand over fist. And they're greedy. So they're like, okay, well, I'm going to book my profits here. I'm going to start, taking profits. So there's now selling pressure here, right? People, can't blame them. They just, whatever, up 50% or so. So there's some selling from the existing traders and investors who made some money. They want to book some of those, realize those profits. So there's, profit taking and profit selling. So there's more sellers here than buyers until it gets to a certain level where the buyers are, again, interested because, hey, I missed it here, but now I'm getting another chance here. This is looking interesting. Now the buying ensues again. And then it starts slowly build until it gets into a frenzy. As you can, this big spike up here. And again, the cycle repeats, rinse and repeat, fear and greed. The traders who are in the money now are thinking, well, this is as good as it gets. I'm going to take, some of my profits here, maybe half of my position I'll sell. So now the selling, ensues and the pullback ensues. And now some traders are sort of actually, worried that this is the end of the trend. So now they pile on until it gets to, again, another level where the traders feel like, well, this is interesting now. We pulled back to, a level where I missed it. Now I'm interested in buying it here. And so it's, again, the supply and demand. It's market psychology, but there's indicators that help us find those levels. Now, support would be drawn here because this is the level where, it found support. It's the level where buyers stepped in and soaked up all this, supply from sellers and overwhelmed the sellers and actually started pushing the price up. Okay, so that's support. On the other side, resistance. So resistance typically where the spike or advance is terminates or pauses, right? We have a question here. Bear love. Okay, let's see. How do I open? Okay. Bear, can you ask a question, please? I can't hear you if you are asking a question. Maybe you can just write the question in the queue, please. All right, so I'll continue in the meantime. Sorry if you were unable to ask a question. Oh, here, maybe I can. Maybe I'm muting you. Maybe that would help. Hold on. You seem to be on mute, and I'm unable to unmute you. Okay, so you have to unmute yourself. All right, so maybe go ahead and ask a question in the messages section. So moving on to, and now I'll demonstrate the whole support and resistance in a minute. And you can find more information about it in a knowledge base. We have some extensive articles on this topic. Polarity principle is also very important, and I'll demonstrate it here. In fact, I'm going to go to the platform now again so I can demonstrate it live on an example. Hang on, I got to switch this again. Kind of a pain in the butt. Here we go. So now I'm back in the platform here, right? We still have the results of our filter where we found assets that are in an uptrend on the medium and the long-term basis. Here's the list. Let's take a look at Aragon. All right, let's expand this chart. Another nice uptrend, right? Look at it. Higher high than the prior upswing, yet another higher high than the prior upswing, higher low, higher low, higher low. Beautiful. Textbook uptrend. Now, where is the support and resistance in here? I'm going to use this tool here to demonstrate that. So, support, I think, is easy, right? It's where the price has found the bottom, and ideally where the price has found the bottom more than on one occasion. As you can see, it found the price found the bottom here back in January, and then it rallied. Then it came back to that same level, about $2, bounced and rallied. Clearly, $2 is a level where investors and traders find this asset to be undervalued, interesting, whatever it is. The reason is they tend to buy it here at these levels, and you'll see that those kinds of levels, on all assets over time, at certain levels is where buyers come to the table and buy it because they view it as undervalued. Now, previously, then let's now look at the resistance, right? This level here, where the price peaked at the time, was around $3. It found a lot of selling pressure, and eventually it gave up those gains and swung back down, right? So this level clearly is where sellers come out. This is where there's selling pressure, there's supply. Traders, investors at this level at the time, around $3, were realizing and booking their profits. Now, then we swing back down here to $2, bounce off of it and broke above the $3 or so resistance area. Now, this is a very important concept called polarity. It was in one of my slides, and I will share those slides with you, and I'll send them to all of you. But polarity says once a resistance level has been broken, like it has right here, once this resistance level had been broken, imagine you're here now, right? You don't have this side part of the graph here. You're here. This resistance area of $3, where previously sellers have come out and sold and pressured the price down, it's been broken. The buyers are so aggressive. They've soaked up all the supply here and broken through this resistance level. Now this resistance level becomes support. So that's the concept of polarity. Once the resistance level has been broken, it becomes support. So now this $3 level, is support area. The other one that we still have here is at $2. That stays there. Now, then we had another upswing here, and we topped out at around $4 right here, right? Again, sellers came in, started taking, all these guys who made money from these levels, bought it at $2. Now they're 100% in the money at $4. Yeah, they're going to take some profit. They're greedy, but not that greedy. So that creates selling pressure again. Okay, and so the price topped out here, and that became resistance again. And then once we broke through that resistance again here, then it becomes support. So let's get rid of this. And say, okay, once the resistance has been broken, the $3 and the $4 resistance, now we're looking at, my bad. This is a support level. Arguably, here's another one, which is another area where the price had a change in direction, if you will. Here's another support, $3, right? It's from way back here. And then the next one all the way down is at $2. The point of this exercise is that we're trying to figure out, well, where is this price going to bounce off of? Now it's right. It's rallied again from $3, right? Notice how previously $3 was resistance, and then it became support here and here. So that worked. Off of $3, it bounced off of that and rallied to $5. Another, what, 80% gain? No, 70% gain. And now it's pulling back again. There's, profit taking. We're still in an uptrend, but we're in the downswing. And this is the opportunity for us to get involved. Is it right here, a right time? Well, I feel like it is getting there. If it's not $4, then it's this next support zone, which is about $3.75. It's very close. Now, the other way of telling that, whether this is the right time to get involved, and I'll show you later how to automate all of this. You won't have to do all of this work, but just so you understand the theory behind it, the next indicator we take a look at that helps us with identifying the bottom of this downswing is called MACD, or momentum. So let me get rid of these. Actually, hold on. Let's see if I can. Nope. My bad. So let's get rid of these. Okay, so we're going to add. You can add, I like default analytics here, which adds a few things here. The RSI, but I'm going to turn that off for now. The 50-day moving average, I'm going to turn that off as well. I'm going to leave the 200-day moving average there. And then we have the MACD and volume. MACD, moving average convergence divergence, MACD. This is the most powerful indicator in terms of momentum swings. I use it almost exclusively. Honestly, I use 2 or 3 indicators: RSI, MACD, trend, support, resistance. 4 things that I use in my trading. No more. No, you don't need more than that. But in fact, for this strategy, all you need is the trend and the momentum MACD indicator. So what is MACD? Is this a magical, magical indicator, pulled out of thin air? No. MACD was created by a smart fella almost 50 years ago. And what it does is really, it just uses some moving averages to calculate how quickly the price is sort of advancing or declining versus another moving average. And the point of that is, what you get here is this MACD right here. And when these 2 lines, which is a MACD line and a MACD signal line, cross, you get signals: sell, buy, sell, and so on. And as you can see, they're relatively well lined up with these dips and tops, right? Look at this. MACD is indicating sell. Well, it wasn't on the complete top, but it was still relatively close to the top. Here was a buy. It wasn't complete bottom. You're never going to get that because the price has to make a certain directional move before the indicator notices it, right? I mean, it doesn't predict the future out of a crystal ball. But the point is that it is still relatively early for us to get in on this uptrend, right? Because we know this is an uptrend. I want to participate in it. I just want to find the right entry. So this MACD indicator is, for me, the right entry. Not only that, it also ideally lines up with that support and resistance that I mentioned earlier, right? Where was the support? So it takes us back here, right? Down here. Here's the last buy signal here. Okay. Well, it bounced off of the $3 support level that I talked about. Okay, right here. And I also got the buy MACD signal, right? So those two things kind of, once they line up, typically the support is the first thing that's touched, and then you get the MACD buy signal. Then for me, that's an opportune time to get involved. So what about now, right? We had this big run up to $5. Now we're pulling back. Why don't I blow this chart up? It's going to be easier to see. I should have done that already. My bad. Okay, let's turn off some of the indicators that are just not important right now, including the volume. All right. And extend the time horizon to 6 months. Okay. All right. Hopefully that's easier to see. Point is, we're back, right? Here, the price swung up. Now it's pulling back. Now I'm trying to figure out, is this the right time to get involved yet? Well, not yet, because, right, I need a fresh buy signal. This is an old buy signal. This signal would have helped me on the way up here, but not now. So what I need to do is, okay, well, yeah, it is close to this $4. Is right at the $4, right? Right. Look at the price, $4. So the price is right at the support level, which previously was a resistance level, but once broken, it becomes a support level. So there's a check mark on that, but we haven't, in terms of momentum, we haven't, we are not in the right momentum stage, right? We need to wait for this momentum to, what we're going to probably get first is a sell flag and then a buy flag. So I need to wait for a few days, maybe longer, I don't know. But until I get that, I'm not going to get involved. There's still potential downside. Now, maybe the price turns here. We'll get a couple of up days, and we'll get that buy signal relatively quickly. But that's kind of the exercise that I go through. Now, we've automated this for you. You're wondering, Jesus, I'm going to have to do this, deep in the chart. No, we've automated it for you. So, in fact, again, going back to signal summary, this strategy, basically what I just described, finding a coin in an uptrend and then finding the right dip or the right momentum, fresh momentum to get involved, is basically the strategy that I hope to teach you today, which I call the fresh bullish momentum in an uptrend, right? And that strategy is also featured on the signal summary tab, where we have a bunch of these strategies. But this one, which I think is the most powerful of them, is in a couple of places right here, momentum and uptrend. In fact, there's only 2 or 3 assets that satisfy this criteria. As you know, we saw 90 assets that were in an uptrend, but only 2 or 3 of those are also experiencing a momentum upswing. Okay, so this is one of them, and then the other one is here, up and fresh momentum inflection. Again, you will receive the presentation that I have that will show you exactly where you can find these as well. All right, again, only 3 assets that satisfy this criteria. So let's jump to the results right here to this one. 2. Only 2 assets are in an uptrend on a medium-term basis, and also recently had a bullish MACD signal, right? Let's take a look at the charts. Linear Finance and Pluton. No idea what those things are, but that doesn't matter. I mean, if you want to, you can learn about them, but we really are interested in what the price is telling us. And so here under the charts, right here, again, let's skip to the trends. They are in an uptrend. In fact, uptrend across all 3 time horizons. Fantastic. I was only looking for the medium term, but that's fine. Secondly, look where this buy flag is, right? Just a day ago, literally yesterday, is when we got the buy flag. This one, I'm a little late. And look, it had a nice bounce. This is a, I don't know, 10% gain in just one day. I missed it. Darn me. Right? This flag came on Sunday, 2 days ago. Right? Now, I'm not gonna say this is gonna happen every time. But what we're doing here is setting ourselves up for success by doing two things, simple things. Finding coins or assets in an uptrend. That's half the battle, 50% of the success rate. Secondly, we're waiting patiently for the upswing, because even in an uptrend, there are upswings, downswings, upswing, downswings. As the fear and greed goes, people are taking profits and so on, right? But this one, linear finance, I like to set up here. It's in an uptrend. It's kind of consolidated here. It's bounced off here. Now I got a buy flag here, indicating that the momentum has shifted bullishly. The buyers have absorbed all the selling pressure. All the traders that were taking profits have already taken them profits, and are have stopped selling, and therefore the buyers can now advance. That's the theory. Something macro-wise could come in that will blow this up, but I think that we are setting ourselves up for success. I think 70% success rate is very likely with this strategy. So that's the asset that I want to buy. Again, you can find this. Oh, let's see. I'm sorry. I noticed that someone. What MACD settings are you using? I'm using a good question, Steph. I'm using very standard settings, meaning it's EMA 12 and EMA 26. I hope that answers the question. And then prior question was, which time frame needs to consider to analyze the trend, and what factor? News, CPI, in order to trade, blah blah blah. Okay. From Khan, the question about a couple of questions, which time frame to consider. I'm using the daily time frame right here, as you can see. I'm on a daily time frame. If you go to a different time interval, notice this. Let's try it for shits and giggles. So right now on a daily time frame, we only have two assets satisfying our criteria. What happens if I go to a lower time frame? Let's just say hourly time frame. A whole different set of assets. You're like in a different galaxy now. You're different level, right? So you can do this strategy works for any time frame. It's the same steps, same concept, same approach. It's just that the swings up and down will be faster, and you'll have to react faster. So depending on how much time you have to react and trade, but also how much experience you have, I advise to stick to the daily until you get comfortable with that, and then you can speed things up with lower time intervals. And then in terms of your other question, Khan, what other factors to take into consideration? News, CPI, these are macro factors that we don't take into consideration when doing technical analysis. It's a lot of noise. It certainly has an impact, but if we take all those factors into consideration, we'll never make a trade, because it's just too much. It's too complex. We stick to the very simple keep it simple, stupid strategy. All right, having said that, so again, you can find these strategies under the signal summary. Now, the other thing that I wanted to show you, getting back to these graphs here, right? Let me blow this up. It's easier to see. Get rid of the volume. I don't even need the volume here. Now, check this out. These signals, buy, sell, MACD signal crossovers, what they call the MACD signal crossovers, buy, sells, buys. They're great, but they're not right on the top. Another way to get closer to the top is by using the MACD histogram bars. These blue bars here, they're called MACD histograms. These, let me make it larger, even larger. These histogram bars basically measure the distance between the MACD line and the MACD signal line. And the gist of it is that when there's a pullback like it is here, right? We got a sell signal here. Then the price kept going lower and lower, and the blue bars kept getting deeper and deeper and deeper, until at one point the blue bars begin to rise again. This is MACD histogram. This is another indicator of a shifting momentum, an upswing. The buyers are starting to win. The buyers are pushing the price higher. In fact, look, this buy signal came all the way here, but I could have gotten this buy signal even sooner. Maybe a better example would have been maybe this example here. Here, the bars, the blue bars, the MACD histogram begin to improve over here. I could have bought it here as opposed to all the way here. The point is, that's another sort of helpful indicator that you could use to enter the trades a little sooner than the MACD signal line crossover would indicate. So that strategy is also here on the signal summary. And that one is called, if I scroll down here, that one. So the one that we just analyzed is this momentum and uptrend, but the one that you should also utilize is this one that says uptrend and fresh momentum inflection. There are 3 assets in there. Let's check it out. Okay, so these are different assets. There are a little sooner in their upswings. Okay, these, as you can see in the charts, are not flashing a buy flag yet, but they're about to, right? We're slightly ahead of that buy flag because we are looking at these. So this filter is using the MACD histogram right here. So again, it's looking for all the coins that are in an uptrend. That's this filter condition. And also looking at, well, which ones also have a rising histogram bars. And here they are. So this is another way or a technique to find an uptrend and enter when there's a beginning of an upswing. So those are the 2 strategies that I like to use. I think they're simple. I think they're in line with general trading principles, which is trade with a trend. Trend is your friend. And what I wanted to do is actually place a trade. So as I mentioned, I like this linear finance, the setup, right? Looks like we've kind of consolidated here. So I'm going to go ahead and place a trade in that. You can do that on our platform. If you go to trade, now you will have to connect your exchange account. So I have connected, if you look, I have connected HitBTC, Bittrex, Binance, Poloniex. I have a bunch of accounts that I've connected to our platform. There's no additional fee. It's really just a convenience that you can place the trades from our platform, but you can do just as well on Binance directly if you prefer to. That's fine. We don't care. And I want to, linear finance. So Lena, and depending on what balances you have, if you connect your exchange accounts to the platform, you will also be able to see all of your balances in one place, right? So I can see, all right, I have USDT, and USDT I have on my wallet on Ethereum network. I have some on Binance. I have some on Arbitrum network. I have some Bittrex. So it's a very useful tool for also letting you monitor your portfolio across multiple exchanges and multiple wallets that you may have. That's sometimes a challenge. You can also see all of your transaction history in one. And so let's go ahead and place a trade here. So this is the order book. This is where I can buy and sell at these levels. So let's take a look at the chart again, right? Here's the linear finance chart. Okay, so where's the price right now? 0.0149 or so. So I want to buy, let's just say $500 worth. So I'm going to buy when I use a limit. So how to use option charges. Okay, and I'm going to say, what's the best price right now? Here's the best price. I'm going to say, okay, I'm willing to take a slightly worse price than that, just very slightly. And I say I'm going to buy, oops, yeah, $500 worth. So that's 36,000. So let's see. I'm going to say I'm willing to buy a slightly worse price than that even. Oh no, let's just keep it right there. Okay, send. Cross our fingers. Order placed successfully, so it's been executed. It should be my transaction history right there. And actually, what I forgot to do, and I also suggest you do, is add a note to your transaction, right? So here I could have said, this is a fresh momentum upswing in uptrend. Right, so you know why you place this trade. You can even say profit target. In this case, a profit target is likely to be the next resistance area, which is right here, right? Which is kind of where the prior swing high was. So call it around 2 cents or so. So you could say, profit target at 2 cents. This is kind of where you want to, sell it. In fact, you could place a sell order right now. Okay, I would say, okay, I want to sell it at 2 cents. I want to sell all of my Lena at 2 cents. Okay. So I placed that order and it's in my order, open orders, right? I mean, obviously this will not go through until the price gets to 2 cents. All right. And what else I wanted to show you is also if you are trading using your wallet, like a MetaMask wallet, we have recently introduced our DEX aggregator, which is basically a technology that scans over 100 different sources of liquidity or 100 different decentralized exchanges. And it also allows you to trade across various protocols like Binance, Ethereum, Polygon, and so on. So you can also execute the trade through the DEX, and it actually finds the best price for you. And so you can save some money there as well if you're the kind of person that trades through your own wallet, like a MetaMask wallet, okay? Which I think is also another technique that we'll be teaching in our education courses, because I think using your own wallet and using decentralized exchanges is going to be more and more important because there's just too much risks with some of these centralized exchanges, okay? So in the future, if you do have a MetaMask wallet, you can click on Connect Wallet. It'll open up your MetaMask. You'll connect the MetaMask, and then you can execute the trade through the DEX as well, directly from your wallet, not have to go through any exchange. So having done that, I'm open to questions. Let me see if I've forgotten anything. Again, this webinar will be recorded and published right here under the crypto education trading videos. All right, so you can come back and watch it again and take all these steps that I have demonstrated today. Very simple, but very powerful. I mean, really, honestly, you don't need more than that to be a successful trader. That's just one strategy. We will teach other strategies that are more appropriate for a down market or other types of market conditions in our upcoming education course. So keep an eye out for that. And again, starting tomorrow, we will have a lifetime special on lifetime subscriptions, or actually not subscription, but memberships that I recommend you take advantage of. Will be at a 50% discount. Is it possible to automate trades via Capitalize.ai? I believe yes. I mean, that's actually, I'm not sure, actually. I'm familiar with that platform, but I'm not sure if they've completely automated the trades or just kind of automated um, the trade conditions. I guess I'm not familiar enough with that platform. What do you think about algo trading using TradingView Pine script? So no, I haven't used that myself. So I don't know how to, I guess I know it's very useful for more advanced traders who are able to do Pine scripts to backtest their strategy. I'd say, my backtest is only just my own experience. Can you show us how to read on-chain data properly? Manoj, this is beyond the scopes of today's webinar. I'm happy to do another webinar on that if there's interest in that, because Manoj is referring basically to another type of data that we have, the on-chain data, which is more of a fundamental investing related type of indication, but it's not really relevant to the trading, the technical analysis and TA-based trading, but it's more around what kind of revenues do various projects are generating, what kind of valuations they're trading at. But this is more fundamental way of investing, longer term investing as opposed to trading. Oh yeah, I did want to actually demonstrate one more thing. First of all, you can add, so once you create these or jump to these market filters, you can add these assets to your watch list simply by clicking on the star here. Say pick a watch list you want to, or unless if you don't have a watch list, you can create a watch list under the watch list tab here. So right here, I can say demo watch list. Okay, I can add assets right here, or I can go back to the crypto screener and say, okay, I want to add these two assets to my watch list. Here's the demo watch list. Lena is on it now, and Pluton is as well. So again, watch list is something that is useful to do. You can add, assets that you currently are interested in or own and create a watch list maybe, and monitor your portfolio this way. Another cool way to do that or to utilize that is when you open up another screener, then here under my data, you can say, okay, show me only coins on my watch list, right? And that's a nice way. Then you can check, okay, well, what trends are we seeing in the coins that I'm interested in or own? So that's another useful tip here. And I think that wraps it up. Again, if you have more time, check out the signal summary and market highlights. There's a lot of presets, strategies there with explanation, with video tutorials as well. For example, if you were interested in pullback in an uptrend strategy right here, you can click on this help button. It opens up the information with links to additional information as well, education video and tutorial video. So this is a great tool to educate yourself. I don't want to overwhelm you. I think let's start with this particular strategy that I just demonstrated today. If you can master that, you'll be well on your way to profit from the crypto up and down swings. Stick to the trend and then check the MACD indicator. Again, this recording will be available. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Thanks for tuning in. Congratulate to yourself for taking the time to learn. I think that's most important, because if you listen to anyone else, other sort of Telegram channels, at the end of the day, you need to learn the concepts yourself. And I think I'm big into empowering the individuals. So congratulate yourself for taking the first step. If you want to continue with us in the future, check back on these trading videos and as well as the academy that we have here and so on. There's plenty of material to keep moving you along this journey that you've set out on. So thank you again. Two more questions above. I think I have already. Can you talk about scale 1 to 10 on up, strong up? Right. The scale itself is really more of yeah. I mean, it's when so what he's talking about, and this is Kim, is that Here we, under the trend tab, we have strong up 10 out of 10. It's basically, that scale is something that we arrive through a certain methodology that we have that compares moving averages versus price and crossovers and so on. I don't think the scale itself is that important, because basically the number in the scale is already captured and encapsulated by the description of the trend, whether it's up, strong up, neutral, strong down, and so forth. So I don't think you have to take that into consideration that much. All right, everyone. Well, I'll be holding another similar webinar next week. I hope this has been helpful. And if you have any questions, please email me at invest@altfins.com. Good luck, everyone. This webinar is wrapping up. Cheers.